It is yet another day, and we thank God for the gift of life. And Mukhwana Isaac welcomes you to a journey through the Bible, where we go through the Word of the Lord. Yesterday, we briefly looked at Joseph, how this man ended up in Egypt together with his family. And remember, he was sold before he reached there. He is one who was loved by his parents. They loved him so much. Since he was a dear one and the others, it seemed uncomfortable, it seemed unfitting to them. So they decided to kill this young man. And you see, the anointed one of God playing with them is very bad. These people thought that was the end of Joseph by doing away with him. And remember, it's just one of them again who said, "No, let's leave this young man. We just throw him into the ditch." But again, amongst themselves, again, they develop another thought. They said, "Now, since we've seen traders pass, let's just sell him to them." You see, when God is is in the midst of something, if God is on your side, your enemies will forever plot, but they will never be successful. Actually, whatever they'll be plotting for you is what will be a stepping stone. I've witnessed this, and this is what exactly transpired in the life of Joseph. We now look at this man as a dreamer. Joseph had dreams as a boy, which was described to his brothers, in which they and their father would one day in the future bow down before him actually in reverence. But Joseph annoyed his brothers so much that they wanted to kill him, although Reuben and Judah did want to save him from death. In the end, they sold him as a slave to travelers going to Egypt and lied to their father Jacob, saying that Joseph had been killed by a wild animal. And you see how they now forge, how they lie. The scene that we saw, that I shared with you in Genesis chapter 3, still continues. Talk of murder, we saw Cain murdering his brother Abel and deceiving. When God asked when God asked Adam where he was, instead of telling God exactly what transpired, he said, "The woman." Again, he talks about being naked. When the woman is asked, she refers. She now says it's the serpent, accusing one another. I want to tell you, it still exists up to date. Accusing one another, not taking responsibility. Once you take it as you take it up and you say, "Yes, I have sinned," there is where God also comes in and says, "Okay, this is what we can do." But for you are portioning blame, saying it is the other one. And remember, in Egypt, Joseph was sold as a slave to Potiphar, a government official who trusted him much. But the official's wife, who wanted Joseph to sin with her, accused him of attacking her. So Joseph was put in prison. You see, this lady saw Joseph as one beautiful young man, and from there sent for Joseph. When Joseph reached there, of course, he didn't know. This woman says, "We must have affairs." And now, Joseph, being a pious man, refused. And on refusing, she reported, of course, She must have accused him of doing something bad. The man was thrown behind bars. And so Joseph's reply to the woman's request shows how deep his faith in God, a faith that was found nowhere else in the family of Jacob. How then can I do this great wickedness and sin against God? We read this in Genesis chapter 39, verse 9. But God saved Joseph from prison and gave him great honor before the people of Egypt. For God was using him as a way to protect the sons of Israel so that they would be able to grow into a nation, into a great nation, a nation that he created for himself, a nation that he had one time promised or told Abraham. And because Joseph could explain dreams, he was called before the Pharaoh who had had a dream of 7 thin cows eating up 7 fat cows and even fat ears of grain on the stalk, followed by 7 thin ears of grain. Joseph foretold 7 years of plenty of flood, followed by 7 years of famine. Now, Joseph, the cunning one, advised the Pharaoh to cut to cut on maybe expenditures and put an administrator in charge of collecting food in preparation for the 7 years of famine. Of course, the Pharaoh freed Joseph from prison and made him the administrator, giving him the highest position in the land after himself. And as we read Genesis 41, verse 55, when all the land of Egypt was finished, the people cried to Pharaoh for bread, and Pharaoh said to all the Egyptians, "Go to Joseph. What he says to do, do." Now, during famine, Joseph sent 10 of his sons to Egypt for food. They were brought to this man, Joseph, and they, not recognizing Joseph, bowed before him as he had foretold in the dream one time. Although they did not recognize him, Joseph recognized them. By trickery, he brought the whole family from Canaan to Egypt, for he accused his brothers for being spies who had come to see where to attack the land. They insisted that they were innocent, that they had left their father and one brother in Canaan. And so Joseph then forced them to bring Benjamin, their youngest brother, and after playing some tricks on them, let them know that he was their brother Joseph. You see what happened? This man, what he did, he sold them the food. Of course, they had to pay. Now, after paying, he told his soldiers, he was a man who was being guarded. See, he had guards. He told them that now what you do, pick this money they have cleared, give it, place it in the food they have bought. So as they left on their way going, he said, those people have stolen our food. They brought them, they were confused. They said, we've not done anything. He says, check their bags, check that food. It had the money with it. So he was a man of tricks. And of course, Joseph said to them, he told them, God sent me before you to prepare, to preserve for you a remnant on earth, and to keep you alive, to keep for you many survivors. So it was not you. who sent me before God. Genesis 45 from verse 7 to 8. God preserved Joseph. You see, Joseph sent his brothers to bring their father Jacob, Israel, and all their families. And God spoke to Israel, Jacob, in visions of the night, and he said, I am God, the God of your father. Do not be afraid to go to Egypt, for I will there make you of a great nation, and I will go down with you to Egypt. Yes, I will also bring you up again. Chapter 46, verse 2 to 5, 6. Thus Israel dwelt in Egypt, in that land, in the land of Goshen, and they gained possessions in it, and were fruitful and multiplied exceedingly. Chapter 47, verse 27. That is how the Israelites ended up in Egypt, and they were enslaved for a number of years. What do you learn from today's episode? For you to become something, you go through something. Yes, Joseph went through a lot, and they thought they had finished him. It was God. When the Israelites, when the Jews, when the teachers of the law, when the soldiers were beating, were killing, when they pierced, they thought it was his end. Little did they know that it was God. Thank you. It has been a journey through the Bible with Mukhwana Isaac. We continue learning together. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. We'll link up tomorrow when we shall be handling episode 24. Be blessed.